How's it going? It's James here, and it's you here watching. Thank you for being here, because we're gonna talk about some fun stuff today, because there's some things in the world that kind of need to be addressed, and I want to relate some of the things that are going on to situations that we find in our normal life, and how we can literally bring the wisdom that we all learn from our daily lives, our daily struggles, and see how this can apply into the world. Now, I want there to be a safe space here, because this is really a space where everyone is really welcome, and that's so important. It really is. And especially when we're talking like stuff like this, where we're covering topics such as things in politics, right? And what's going on in the world in terms of little bits of trade wars and these things that are causing dilemmas and challenges. And of course, I want to bring about a solution, because there can be a solution. And this is really what I hope to bring to you. So what's going to go on here? Well, I really, maybe I'll just kind of give you the full banger off the front, so that at least you know where this is going. And it's really to try to bring in this wisdom that we all learn from our daily lives as to how we actually don't like to suffer. But when we're in a state of suffering, we don't really know that we're in a state of suffering sometimes, and we often will perpetuate it until we've kind of come to a realization that it's not going to work. And I have been here in situations in my life, and that's why I want to relate it to you. And I really hope that you can relate too to what's going on here, because ultimately this is kind of the wisdom that we want to bring into what's happening into the world, because there's a lot of challenges in the world. And I really feel like it's a time where we can actually wake up, where we're almost at a point where we've seen how history repeats itself, and we can actually start to say, well, wait, we can change things. We can actually make a difference. There's been a lot of uprise in spirituality. People are just meditating more. There's people who just that should do the 2 minutes. People you just tell them, and I've said this in other videos. It's like the guilt. They know it. It's like, I know I should do, and they just put their head right down. Okay, if you're one of them, I've also don't think too that it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna do meditation every day, and boom, it's easy, and then you just do it. Instant routine. It can, for some people, it just depends on what your mind is throwing at you, and it just takes the effort that it takes goes down and down, and the rewards that you feel go up and up. It's pretty much as simple as that. And I really feel like we're at a time in our world where we're kind of bringing almost spirituality and this I really feel like it can integrate into what's happening into all of the world and all of our problems, where we can actually consciously choose the direction we want to go in. And that's really powerful, because this actually allows us to connect with what we're really looking for, and we can basically grow that. We can allow we can move in a direction where this grows, where we can actually get what we're looking for. And the thing is that a lot of us are looking just for happiness. Maybe we're just looking to not feel anxious, or not feel depressed, or not feel stressed. And this is also quite normal. This literally, spirituality gives us the tool to break out of this and find, depending on the type of happiness you're looking for, there's all sorts of different ways that we may go about it. Ultimately, if whatever you're doing to look for happiness, as this is really what everyone is ultimately looking for, and of course, if you're not too, so you're also welcome here too. I just, from what I've seen for myself, others, and many wise people, that seems to be the case. But feel free to debate me on anything, I guess. It's really just to propose an idea where we could actually just move in a really good direction, because it's really important. And spirituality allows us to move in this really good direction. It is maybe the key that we do whatever we're doing in our life whatever we're striving for in our lives, whatever we feel like is going to make us happy, and we actually make this into our spiritual practice. Just a small thing. It's often sometimes seen that I have to meditate for hours a day, and some people will talk about going into caves and yogis, and you don't have to. Actually, a lot of recommendations are that even gurus aren't going into caves now, that they're, it's more about really being integrated with the world, and you really maybe finding a balance of meditation versus integrating into the world. If you feel like you need to retreat more, you need to retreat more. It really, you find the inner balance as to what you need. But it's important to be able to bring what we're learning into the world. And at the same time, we are able to make what we're doing a living spiritual practice just by fully connecting with what we're doing, just by giving our full attention to this present moment, by really giving ourselves to whatever we're doing, whatever we're doing, this connection, and we allow it to connect us inward. I'm going to leave that little space there to really feel out, what does it feel like to connect inward? Cool. So now let's relate this to situations in our own life. And I really want to relate this here because it's often the case where we're not... hopefully you can relate, where maybe we're in a situation where we're angry. And of course I've been here, hopefully you're not, but I know we all do. These are our human qualities. And when we're angry, we might do things that we regret. And later on, when the anger calms down, we're like, wow, I probably shouldn't have done that. I made some bad decisions. And in the moment though, it might not feel like the case. And in the moment, it might feel like you're just in the anger, you're in the fuel of it, and it feels so right. But at the end of the day, it isn't. These feelings that we're feeling can lead us astray because they're not pointing us in the ultimate direction. They're not pointing us towards happiness. They're kind of deceiving us a bit. And these, maybe if you're watching too, you can try to see if there's situations in your own life where you've almost thought this was it, this was it. And then once you kind of got that, or wherever you're looking for, you realize that just wasn't it at all. And I've been through this time and time again where it's like, oh, that wasn't it. And I keep trying and trying and trying. In situations to connect with the world, though, we kind of see just this reflection of smaller scale group consciousness and human interactions. I'll try not to get too fancy here, as to how we can basically see ourselves and our interactions with other people and look at what's happening between countries and country dynamics. And what we basically want to do here is move us in a direction that is positive. We're literally making a stance, and we're recognizing, okay, in my own life, I have come to my own insight when I realize that doing things that are maybe not in my own best interest, even though they might feel right at the time, ultimately at the end of the day, it's like, wow, I should have done something different. I should have done something better. And this is where hopefully we naturally will change and move in a good direction. What we want to do now is bring this lesson to what's happening in the world, and we can say, okay, are we caught up in these big arguments, and is this leading us? Can we stop and actually make the change? Because we can see what's happening on a bigger scale and say, okay, we've done this enough. We realize that when we're in our arguments with people, it just doesn't work out. And at the same time, we recognize that I can actually make a difference. I can change and move towards a good situation. And when we're in states of happiness and we really appreciate the happiness, we really allow ourselves to experience the enjoyable things in our lives, and more importantly, the enjoyable state of consciousness that we cultivate from a spiritual practice, this living in the moment, this very deep sense of peace and well-being that is ultimately nothing else touches on it. And when we do this and we see this extend into the world, it amplifies at possibly at a much, much, much greater magnitude, and is truly, truly, truly magnificent.